Hi there, my name's Ian Brennan and welcome to Magician's Advice Recommends. Today we're going to be looking at the Night Flight deck by Steve Deller. Thank you for your comments in previous videos. Hopefully we're taking on board all the things that you say and you're going to try and make this better step by step. It's been a bit of a long journey so far, but stick with us. And if this is your first time viewing, remember to click like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon, then you'll get every one of these as it pops up. Now, the Night Flight deck is a special marked deck by Steve Deller, and you might be able to read the markings from where you are on the camera. And that one, obviously I can tell you it's the 10 of hearts because I can see it face on here. If I take one at random that I can't see the face of, 9 of diamonds. Yeah, they're all marked. They're quite easy to read. You should be able to read them from this sort of a distance, I would say. I can definitely read them the other way around from that distance. The deck and the box look very, very nice indeed. They're very well made. And the design is similar to a bike, but it's not quite a bike design. So on your table, it would look like another pack of cards that people won't think is out of place, but we as magicians recognize it as different. And some people get afraid of different, don't they? But there we are. Here's the best bits. My favourite things about this deck of cards is firstly how easy it is to read the markings. The markings are really, really clear to see, and when you know what you're looking for, you can tell exactly what they are from quite a distance away, and very quickly as well. There's no magic eye stuff going on, no weird trickery there. It's really, really easy to spot and to read. That's the first thing I love. Because they're plastic coated, it makes them very smooth to handle, very easy to use. They fan really well, they spread really well, shuffle them like normal, but they're also wipeable. So if someone spills a beer on them, you're not going to panic about losing your whole deck of expensive cards. They're going to last you a long, long time. Add that together with this plastic box you get for your tuck case, and they're really going to last you a long time. Stick that in your pocket, in the plastic box, and it'll last even longer than your other brand of marked decks. The third thing I love, I think I've mentioned this already, is that they look like a familiar deck of cards. I love the bats, and they're great, but the design doesn't look so outlandish and strange that people are going to look at them and say, hang on, what's that? You've got something special in your hand there. They're going to look at it and they're going to think, it's that old pack of cards that you've had lying around your house for a long time. Obviously they're lovely and new, but they're not going to see it as a suspicious package. If that makes any sense. I hope it does. It makes sense in my head. They're going to look at it and they're going to see it as a pack of cards. Some of the cards you get nowadays, the cardistry ones especially, they just look so bright and colourful. They look like something might be wrong with them. These people aren't going to question. They're a bit gothic, but that is all. People aren't going to take a second glance at those. Sort of an in-between thing that you might like or you might not is they're not made out of bicycle stock. So these are slightly different stock. They're a plastic finish, which means they're more durable, they're going to last longer, but if you're really picky about what your cards feel like, then they don't feel exactly like bikes. Do they do everything you need them to? Well, let's see. Yeah, they fan, they spread, they do all of that business, they shuffle. They do everything you need them to just right, but you can tell that they're a little bit lighter, I think, a little bit thinner than bikes, but they work perfectly for the magic. In here you also get 2 special cards, a double face and a red blue. Let's talk about the worst thing of these cards. One thing I've seen pop up on people's comments and reviews is they say the deck box is a little bit tricky to open. Seems to work just fine for me, but some people are having trouble opening the box. I think the flap on the box is a tiny bit different in size to a regular bike flap, and I think some people are being a little bit fiddly on that, and in fact no, it's not. It's exactly the same size as a bike flap. So I've got no idea what people are going on about. Some people are saying it's more difficult to open than a pack of bikes, and they're getting the cards stuck as they bring them out. Well, clearly that's not the case for mine. Mine are, maybe it's just because I'm a pro and I'm good at opening boxes. Maybe it's just I can handle a deck of cards. but they seem to work perfectly fine for me. The other thing to do if you're having trouble with the deck and the tuck case and the box, they might come with cellophane. Maybe take the cellophane off. That'll help you out. Something that I think might be a negative for you if you're looking at getting these. At the moment, they only come in blue. For me, that's not a negative at all. But if you are the sort of person that only uses red cards and only uses red bikes, well, these are not bikes and they're not red. So that is a negative. Let's have a closer look at what you get in your box. So if you buy a pack of Night Flights, it comes in its own little plastic box, which you can use, you don't have to use, but I think it's quite a nice add-on just to protect your cards. Again, these cards are already plastic coated, which means they're going to last a bit longer than your regular cards, but that means that they're going to last a really long time in your pocket. The card that comes with it here, on the back it's got the code of how to read it all, which is great. On the front it's got a code that sends you to Steve's website to buy it. So yeah, scan that if you want. If you want a pack, that'll take you there. Let's look at them. The box opens really easily. Let's pop that down there. They look really good. They fan really, really nicely. Let's get rid of our gimmick cards here for a moment. Pop those out of the way. There's no problem at all in the handling of these cards. They look and run very, very smoothly. If anything, they're probably a little bit easier to shuffle than bikes because they're a tiny bit thinner. At least they feel a tiny bit thinner. So they're a little bit smoother to do that with. They grip a little bit more when you fan them together there, but I really am trying to split hairs here. They're a great pack of cards and they will easily do the job. They're not like if you buy a cheap pack of cards and they're all grippy together and they stick together. This is not like that at all. This is, you can tell a tiny difference between that and bicycle stock, but it's a tiny, tiny difference. Let's look at some other cards. That's a regular bike compared to a Night Flight. What have we got here? 10 of diamonds. Yep. Regular bike versus a Night Flight. You'll notice the regular bikes are slightly darker. Night Flight is slightly more of a bright blue or royal blue instead of a dark navy blue. So they do pop out more. If you're worried about regular bikes being lost against your clothing, then these ones will pop out a little bit brighter. So I wouldn't worry the fact they're blue. Let's leave a regular bike on there for show for now. This deck is a marksman deck. Ujime's marksman deck. And if you know what you're looking for with the markings, then you'll be able to see the markings on the two and you'll be able to compare how easy or not it is to read them. And this is the DMC Elite deck, which was my go-to deck before. This is kind of a history in my own deck choices here of marked decks. So I used these, I went with them for years and years and years, until they stopped making them. And then I didn't quite like the green, so I went on to Marksman's. I love Marksman's, the amount of information you can get on there. And I think that's great for certain routines, especially if you need them to look exactly like bikes. They're as close as you're going to get. I know they're not exactly the same, but they look pretty close. These ones, the Night Flights, I think they're kind of a happy mix between the two in the grand scheme of things. The markings on this one are not as big as the markings on this one. The DMC Elites have got bigger markings than those. So if the only thing you're looking for is a big bold marking that you can see from a long distance, the DMC Elites are the way to go. If you're looking for a card that looks a bit more like a bicycle, is easy to read and has more information than that, this is the one to go for. And of course the Marksman is loaded with information as well. But I'm struggling to see that if I lean back a bit from the table here, I can't read that one. I can read that and I can't read that. So these are much more intricate, much harder to read. So just bear that in mind when you go through them. I think as a spectator, if you were a really suspicious spectator and you grab these three cards, on these you're not going to see the markings. You're not going to be able to tell that that one is a red card, and you're not going to be able to tell the one-way orientation of the back. You're not going to be able to tell where it says the 10 of diamonds on it. You're not going to see all of that stuff. You're not going to see that's the 4 of spades. But if you look closely enough, you might see something wrong with this card on the back. There's so many bits of information hidden in there that makes it the more suspicious out of the lot. 4 clubs. Yeah, 4 tops. That makes it more suspicious out of the 3. Again, this one is a safe, happy middle ground for you. I love the fact that it's plastic coated. It means it's going to last a lot longer, and should you need to wipe it down, or should someone spill a beer on it, then it's going to last better than these 2 did. Let's see if we can do a quick test for you. We'll take 3 cards at random from the marksman, and it is going to be at random. It's not going to be in order, because of course this one's in order. 3 cards at random from there, 3 cards at random from the Night Flight, and 3 cards at random from the DMC Elite. And let's see if you can read them and how easy it is for you to read them. And by all means, feel free to play it back a couple of times afterwards and see what you think. So here we go. I'm going to have a go at this. You can play along as well if you like. 6 of clubs, 2 of spades, 3 of spades. On this side, 9 of spades, 5 of spades, and 9 of hearts. So got him. 9 of clubs, Queen of diamonds, and 9 of diamonds. So all easy enough to read. Even though they're not the bicycle design that we know and love, I think they look like a playing card that you feel you should know. They look the sort of thing that you feel like you've had in your drawer before. They look a little bit spooky and a little bit gothic, which I think is pretty cool. But they don't look completely out of the ordinary and completely unfamiliar. I think anyone picking up this deck would think it's just an old deck that you've had lying around. They wouldn't think it's as special as it is. So there we go, that's the Night Flight deck by Steve Denner. If you are interested in finding out more or getting one, check out Steve's website. The description will be in the comments below, in the links below. Well, you know what I mean, it'll be down below. Check them out, and I highly recommend them. If you're worried about running with a marked deck as to a non-marked deck, I almost always run with a marked deck rather than an unmarked one. It gives you so much more freedom. You can do all your marked deck routines, you can do all your normal routines, but with the extra confidence of knowing exactly what the card is at all times. So when someone's grabbing a card and you're going to control it around, you don't have to worry what the card is because you've seen it straight away. It just gives you that extra level of confidence. Maybe you don't want to get them signed and given out. But hey, just don't get your cards signed. Anyway, until next time, take care. Bye bye.